Before we dive into the podcast, hit the save button and the subscribe button to make sure you're able to watch the entire podcast when you have time. Welcome to the Is This Entertainment podcast thing.
Welcome.
Where we bring balance to the force.
That's right. Oh man, I can feel your anger today.
You know, I kind of liked it. I enjoyed the ride a little bit.
Just for clarity, we are talking about Wonder Woman 84, right?
Yes, we are. We are indeed talking about Wonder Woman 84 this episode.
Directed by Patty Jenkins. Released on HBO Max.
You know what we should do? I think we should just, because I don't want to go hard negative right away. I think we should just go broad. Like, the fact that such a major movie, what's happening now,
right,
is the streaming services have taken over, sort of, because of the beer virus that we're all afraid of.
Right.
So, is my background? I don't have the blue going today. Oh, a little bit.
No, well, you got the Millennium Falcon.
I have the
over
Millennium
there.
Falcon. Yeah, that was a gift from the wifey, and
Merry Christmas.
So cool. If you look at it up close, it kind of looks like, you know how they do those Star Wars like war charts. It looks like that. Like,
oh, nice.
Kind of.
All right, a couple of things. It being on HBO Max. Okay, obviously HBO Max of the streaming services was not rolled out great, and they had so many like pre-existing relationships with, you know, licensing deals with HBO Go and HBO Now, that adding this HBO Max, and there's so much confusion. It's like, well, if I paid for HBO Now, does that mean that I get HBO Max? I pay for HBO cable. Does that mean I get HBO Max? It was a clunky rollout. It was a clunky rollout. I pay for HBO with my cable and therefore get HBO Max for free.
But then you have to figure out how to use HBO Max.
I mean, it's not terribly difficult. I just sign in using my cable login information.
So I had to actually purchase HBO Max from the website, and then go over to my TV, which does not have the HBO Max ad installed, but did have an ad for Wonder Woman. So there was no actual way to go from the ad on the Vizio TV to watching HBO Max. It's so weird. So I had to install it on my Xbox and then run the Xbox, which, you know, is not really that big of a deal. It's just, I know smart TVs used to have web browsers, and they've conveniently taken that away from us so that they get their cut of the subscription fee to put their app on there. So I have mixed feelings about the way this is being done, because, I mean, of course I want it, but like, it's just weird that there's like a side hustle to get money from the content provider there.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. And I think that is reflected in the fact that many people weren't signing up for HBO Max organically. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made this move to put Wonder Woman out and to agree to put The Matrix out and all the other stuff that's going to come out through HBO Max. I mean, don't get me wrong, like the pandemic helped, you know, all of that, but, you know, I think they saw that as an opportunity where, you know, like Disney Plus was pretty seamless from a rollout standpoint. Yeah, it didn't have like the content that everybody was anticipating, like, or the new content, like being able to like tap into some of the old timey like Disney Vault stuff is really nice. But I think like it wasn't like the software wasn't clunky, and they weren't, you know, they had their titles like ready to rock and roll. Like if there's, you know, 5 movies in a series, we've got 4 of them, but the 5th one is still under a licensing agreement with Starz. So Starz has it for 4 months, and then it'll get, you know.
Yeah, their content's kind of all over the place, but there's some good content on there, and I really like the way that the app looks, and, you know. It seems a little.
You like the interface?
Yeah, it seems a little smoother actually than the Disney Plus one, as far as like going to the next.
I love the Disney Plus.
Going to the next episode in Disney Plus is like, yeah, you gotta like play it all the way to the end, and then wait, and then load, and then.
Oh no! For mine, it'll start. Like it'll have like a little play button down at the bottom corner, and it'll start to load, so you can kind of tell like how many seconds you have to stop it. And then it'll just go right in.
It will get to that, but it like I have to fast forward to the end of the episode and then wait, and then it will go to that screen eventually. Yeah, there's no like quick, you know, once the credits start rolling, it doesn't just give you an option.
Interesting. It does on mine. That's weird. But I've been watching it a lot on my phone.
Yeah, it could be a limitation to like the Vizio development or whatever, you know.
Right.
But who knows? Like if I put Disney Plus on Xbox, and it might be a smoother
Yeah.
ride. I mean, there's a whole lot we could talk about. We could go way into theories and release schedules and contracts that they,
Yeah.
But I think all of that's irrelevant because ultimately they do have the rights to distribute these movies, I think, and so they should eventually, at some point, come out on HBO Max.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the price point is a little high, I think. No, it feels like it.
Like, what is the price point?
$15 a month over here. Yeah, it feels
okay.
high. So like if they don't have good stuff coming out every month, then like I don't see myself renewing.
Right.
I'm excited for Snyder Cut. Like
mm-hmm.
That's about it. And Matrix. I mean, they got me for 3 months for sure.
Definitely.
Like, will it be consecutive? Probably not. Okay, so HBO Max aside.
Talk to me about, just like watching a new release movie that is in theaters in the comfort of your own home.
I love it. I got a pretty nice setup. It's a pretty decent sized TV. I got, the sound bar, the subwoofer, it's very convenient, comfortable. The only thing I liked about the movie theater was like just kind of having that shared experience or whatever. And
right.
To be honest, like I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think I had a different experience of this film than my wife did. Like she really enjoyed it, and like there were parts of this movie I really enjoyed, and there were parts of this movie that I was like, what? Like why? Like why would you? Come on.
Yeah.
Like you can't use a sword. Give me a break. You know what I mean?
From a watching it at home standpoint, for instance, I paused it.
Yeah.
Because I had to use the restroom, and I wanted to make another cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been plenty of movies where I've had to get up to use the restroom in the middle.
Yeah.
And then
you miss it a little.
And then you're like, okay, how long can I hold it? Am I in the middle of the aisle? Mm-hmm. Do I have to scooch past, 10 people? Or how mad are those people going to be at me? And then,
I mean, we come from the era, like we grew up in TVs, like the maximum size of a TV was like 18 inches or something when we were kids, so there's a reason we went to the theaters. And now, I mean, TVs can be as big as your wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So the experience at home is, if I could get that popcorn to taste the same,
to taste like the hydrogenated,
the really bad for you
palm oil. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Heart attack in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried a couple of different things.
Butter flavor. You gotta get the official fake butter flavor.
Like the flavor all or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a once every 6 months kind of deal.
Yeah.
You can't.
No, I get it.
Can't do that much.
You know what? I bet popcorn would taste really good if you just put real butter on it. Like just.
I do. So here's my awesome corn recipe for you.
All right.
Let me just throw this out.
I'm down because I might make this.
All right. So microwave bag, just knock that out, right? And then as soon as you dump it into the bowl, you got your shredded cheese ready. Okay.
Jeez.
Because of the heat.
Oh yeah.
The heat from the front will just kind of like we'll soften it up a little bit. So just a little sprinkle of cheese on the top, right?
Uh-huh.
And then some movie theater salt. I've got like a little thing of that.
So not kosher.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
And then I'll also add a little bit of Lowry seasoning salt. And then I'll come through with pepper, because with that much salt, I want a little pepper. And then in a little cup, I'll melt a little bit of butter. Okay. If I'm feeling real crazy, I'll throw a little Parmesan cheese on there too.
This sounds magical.
Right.
I think then you could probably open your own theater based on this recipe. You should charge people to come over
top of the shredded cheese, which will melt it even more.
Dude.
And there you got awesome corn.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and you can also throw a couple of swigs of Frank's Red Hot on there if you're looking for a little kick.
Yeah, my wife would love that. I might get vaccinated just to come over. Yeah,
but something about that movie theater popcorn, man. Just
yours sounds way better. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it's
the experience at home. There you go.
And I've gotten to the point where I'm a curmudgeon-y old man now. So when I sit down in a movie theater and I hear someone like
chit-chatting,
just oh gosh, it's just, or like in the middle of a movie when it's like widely known that something's going to happen and it still shocks someone.
Right. It's like, yeah, it's telegraphed and in the film
completely, and they're like, oh my goodness. Like, come on, guys.
We saw this coming. There was no rail.
for real. Or if you get a gaggle of teenagers behind you who think they're hilarious. Mm-hmm. And I know that I was probably that guy.
I was the worst, man. I know. I think though I've started to pay that a little bit of that back. I think I've started to pay my debt back. But golly, I know I was terrible.
So just being able to like start the movie whenever I want, pause it if I got to get up for a second, it was rather enjoyable. So let's get into the details. What did you think of the movie? What is your overall impression of Wonder Woman 84?
Well, I'm glad that I watched I watched the first episode of the old Wonder Woman series, which I had watched also when I was younger. It's very patriotic and very like, do this, for your country, and Nazis are bad, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad I kind of had that angle before I watched this, so it wasn't like so jarring, but it still was a little jarring.
Okay.
It wasn't as much, obviously, like it's much more subtle these days, the way that things are put into movies. But then again, some of this wasn't so subtle, and it really bothered me. Like anybody that on the weird end of things and on the spiritual side of things and kind of into like astrology and stones and stuff like that knows knows what's up with citrine. So like the fact that they sort of cursed it a little bit in this film is kind of weird. The shape of it, it's, I don't know. It was a little offensive to me. I don't know. Did you notice it looked kind of like a D&B there?
You felt it had a phallic nature?
Yeah, perhaps a little phallic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, not that much. Honestly, it reminded me kind of the a little bit of the crystals from like Krypton and whatnot. Like especially in the Snyderverse, I felt like something about like that like medium brown hue made me think of that.
And that's another thing too. The color of it is not accurate to citrine, so that's interesting too. Like citrine's like very pretty, like orange, glowy looking thing, whereas this was like kind of grungy looking, dirty, dirty looking phallic thing.
Yeah, maybe the little ring around it. Maybe that caused the disfiguration.
I mean it was kind of a cursed object. So
right.
Yeah, the cursed. I can't say it out loud. Oh my God.
What are you trying to say, Jacob? What are you saying? I don't get it.
You know what it looks like, and you know what's cursed, and we'll just go on to the next point and draw your own inferences, people.
Okay, but what did you think of the plot?
Oh, there was a plot.
Yeah. Okay. What did you think of the story? What did you think of the acting?
Yeah. I like the way it started out.
Yeah.
I actually like that scene where she's kind of trying to prove herself as awesome chick that deserves to rule or whatever.
Oh, you're talking about the scene in Themyscira?
Yeah. Okay. How do you say this? The mascara.
Themyscira.
Anyway, in the Themyscira.
Themyscira. Just say it fast, and no one will be able to tell.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt like they were doing. We don't know what this is. I have to say this line.
Themyscira. It's not that hard.
The Themyscira.
I don't think you have to put the in front of it.
I think you do. I think you need an article.
Do you? The Krypton.
The Krypton. So yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed like the Olympic situation they had going on there. I thought that was cool. The event itself was really cool. And then I also liked like that she fell off her horse or whatever. What was it? Yeah, she fell off her horse and
fell off her horse because of the tree.
Forgot to go to the checkpoint.
Yeah.
And so there's your lesson. There's your first insert lesson here. Play by the rules or it doesn't count. So I thought that was, that's an okay lesson, I guess, if you're a kid, as an adult, I don't know that we know that this is true.
No, I think it's a good lesson, don't cheat.
I mean, did she really cheat or did she just fall off her horse? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think her intention was to
cheat. She skipped the thing.
She skipped it.
Yeah. She knew she didn't hit that checkpoint and she knew she took a shortcut by sliding down the mountain. So her still trying to claim that she won at the end would have been a misrepresentation of the facts.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like I said originally, that's a good lesson for kids. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great lesson for kids, and I feel like this movie more than
it's a fine lesson for adults too. You know.
Yeah, but I feel like as adults we've seen that it not necessarily be the case. Like we've seen people cheat and get ahead, right?
Oh, I'm sure, but you know, honor should still matter.
It's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. I mean, this of all the lessons and things that they try to put in this movie that are there to obviously influence our minds and the way that we think, I think this is probably the best one. But then moving forward, it becomes a little like it took me out of the movie, and all the other times when they decided to insert an agenda.
So, I mean, you can overlay that message over a lot of the rest of the movie, right? So, Max Lord, Pedro, our buddy, the Mando.
He did a great job playing this character, and
yeah, he did a great job. I really enjoyed him. Good and smarmy.
I believe Patty Jenkins said that Trump was the inspiration for this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't feel like that's the character we got at all.
Yeah, I mean, like you can have like some influences. I don't think it's going to be like a.
It felt like Tony Robbins. It felt like a Tony Robbins meets like what's
Awaken the Giant Within.
Yeah, awaken the giant within. Get some oil. Like you deserve this kind of thing. And I really thought that's what I felt. When I saw the character, I felt like it was like an '80s infomercial.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And growing up in the '80s, like that felt real. That felt like I remember that. You know what I mean?
It's like a little bit of like Jimmy Swaggart in there.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of
all those like
all those things.
Type guys.
It was kind of an amalgamation of
Make Your Wish. Of Kenneth Copeland still riding that wave. All the infomercials. Yeah. So he could have done the honorable thing and just kept trudging away at being a businessman and building an empire the right way, but instead he took the shortcut and slid down the mountain by pursuing this wish-granting citrine.
Is it really the shortcut, or is he really just trying to do the right thing? Like he's already made all the wrong decisions up to this point. Like is he just trying to correct?
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely like, if he's made some bad decisions, right?
Because you can tell he means well when he talks to that guy in the office who's trying to back out. You can tell he really meant well. Like he really believed that he could do it.
Right. So why not just stick with that belief and, do your thing and not rely on the wish stone?
Is that the backwards lesson they're trying to show us here? Is that like you need some
I think it's
magical device in order for your dreams to come true? And if you do, there will be a cost associated.
It's saying like, don't go for the magic wish stone. Just keep working at it to build your own thing, and maybe
probably fail.
But also like there's the lesson of your son already thinks the world of you, so you don't have to be the world to everybody else. You could just be the world to him, and that's okay.
I mean, I really felt like that is putting us all in our place. Like that was the point of this movie, is to like, don't go after your dreams. Just be happy where you're at. Don't ask for too much. Just take what we give you. Listen to what we tell you. And that was the takeaway that I got from this film. And it's just, to me, was very disheartening and unempowering.
I wouldn't put that like the negative connotation on that. Like, I think there's a grass is always greener kind of situation going on with a lot of the characters. You've got Barbara, who is incredibly kind and has like this good-hearted nature. She's bringing the homeless dude back some warm food from the restaurant, and she's doing her thing, and she knows everybody's name at the office where she just started working a week ago. And maybe she's putting it on a little too thick, coming on a little too strong, and that turns some people off or whatever. So she sees Diana and she's like, hey, I want some of that. I want to be the popular girl. And when that happens, she loses all of that humanity and all of that good-naturedness that she had early on in the film. I think a lot of the characters all have this, grass is greener on the other side kind of vibe going on. And I think they're like, we should all be thankful for what we have and the talents that we're given.
100%.
The talents that we're
100%. We should all be, I think that is the most important lesson from this movie, is that we should all be very grateful for what we have and what, and all of those things. But at the same time, I felt like it was telling us not to dream big or not to want more. And it's like, how can we, why wake up in the morning if we don't think we want more? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like a counter message.
I think the message itself there is want more, but do it the right way. Don't take the shortcut.
Yeah, and maybe you are enlightening me here and putting the beginning with the end that I didn't put 2 and 2 together before. Is do it the right way. Because I didn't feel that. Like, I felt like, it's all these people wanting these things. Like, is there anything inherently wrong with wanting to look nice or be noticed? Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, is that such a bad thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are all of...
Right. But at the cost of your humanity. Yeah.
The only reason is at the cost of humanity is because it was a trick. Like,
right.
The trick,
but I think
the trick stone.
That's the metaphor.
That's my point, is if we accept that as the premise, as to not want anything, then why are we doing this podcast? Why are we waking up? What are we doing anything for?
Well, the trick is the shortcut, right? The trick is the slide down the mountain.
I see.
So you might get the thing that you want, but it's got some consequences, which is your aunt grabs you right before you throw the spear.
Right. Yeah, and I think as far as relating this to the real world, like, we're noticing that we can't slide down the mountain, even making this podcast. Like, we got a couple of people that listen every week, but it's not, it's not a million people or anything like that, or whatever it is that we want it to be. And
right. Well, but the other thing is we could probably buy a whole bunch of Twitter bot followers.
Right. Somehow. We could fake it and
then use that as leverage to try to whatever, but let's build an audience organically.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. So how did you feel about Steve Trevor coming back from the first movie?
I was really impressed with the way they did that. I thought that was a really good use of the stone and being able to even trick Wonder Woman herself.
Seeing the previews and all that, it was like, all right, how are they going to do this? How are they going to bring him back? There's no scientific way that he should be able to come back to 1984 when he died in the 1910s or something.
Yeah.
The easy narrative answer is, okay, he's going to be like a figment of her imagination that just kind of walks the path with her. And that's her coping mechanism throughout the decades. So that's what I thought it was going to be. So I was delighted that it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Because
I was happy
to. It really surprised me with that.
Yeah,
that
I didn't.
Great way to bring it.
I thought it was going to be an imagination thing too. Like, it's just in our head, but this was very clever. I thought that was probably the best part of the film, just from an entertainment point of view.
Their dynamic together is nice. And there's a lot of kind of reversal from the first movie. In the first movie, he has to show her what the modern world looks like. And she goes through, picking out the clothes and all that stuff. And then, in this one, they get to reverse that. She gets to show him what the modern world looks like. And then he gets to try on a whole bunch of 80s clothes. That was a fun, way to kind of re-explore that dynamic.
It was very clever. Very clever.
So let's talk about fanny packs for a second. Did you have one?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What grade was that?
I don't know. I was teeny though, man. Mine was probably green or pink or blue or something.
Yeah, I think I had a blue one, and it was probably around fifth grade. I think fifth grade was prime fanny pack territory for me. Did you feel like this movie hit you over the head with 80s stuff? I was expecting to be a little bit more 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like it was a part of it. It was definitely a part of it, but it wasn't so dominating, and I liked that.
My takeaway from it was the 80s were workout videos and sleazy infomercials and guys being sleazeballs and that was my takeaway from what the 80s were. And shoulder pads. The rolled up sleeves, Miami Vice style. Yeah. Do you remember watching the news? I remember watching the news and watching how important it was. They would do these exposés about women, in the workplace and, being just as good as men and, all this kind of stuff. And I remember that. And I was being afraid, always wanting to treat women the same as men, don't want to overstep my bounds. And I was afraid of women because I always thought I was going to do the wrong thing when I was young. So all of that coming back to me in my subconscious was I don't know that this is the right approach. like women trying to be masculine with these shoulder pads and, trying to be the thing instead of just embrace themselves, but I'm not a woman, so I guess I have no right to speak on it, except for the fact that I know I changed my behavior as a younger person being influenced by this type of media,
Right.
that I was afraid to impose any assertion on any woman growing up. Like, did you ever feel like that? Like you weren't able to communicate with women effectively when you were on it?
No, I don't think so. I was, yeah, no,
I mean, you were always pretty chill as far as as I knew, but like when I was younger, I had like a fear of women because of like what I saw.
We're talking like 9, 10, 11, like that kind of thing, or are we talking like teenager?
Like I would say like early
Like 4 or
teen,
5.
or like 12, like, like
Okay.
10, 11, 12. Like, yeah, like I was just nervous around women. Like I was afraid that I would say something that would offend them. You know what I mean? Like it was so, I don't know, just, I remember it being something that I was like, yeah, women, like I got to respect them. I don't want to assert authority over them. Like it was just, it was weird, like a weird way to think as a child.
I don't think I had that.
Good.
I have
That's good.
yeah, like I'm trying to think of like why. I was primarily raised by my mom. So were you.
Yeah.
Right. And my mom continues to be a bit of a force. I have a healthy amount of fear of my mom, definitely. So, so any sort of like idea
Who's
of like
probably listening to this?
probably listening. Hi, mom. Any sort of like idea of like a power dynamic. If I screw up, my mom's gonna like take me to task for it.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole slew of aunts who are all strong-willed and
Yeah, like I saw that. I saw
like
that
incredibly
influence.
loving.
I saw that influence from the media, like being played out in real time. Like my mom got the job and got the shoulder pads. Like she did all the things.
Yeah. I also like I just as a child, the idea of fairness was something that was like I think either drilled into me through maybe like Catholic school or family or just something that I latched onto, because I remember like getting into fights with other kids because what they were doing wasn't fair.
Or
Right.
you stood the moral high ground. Like
I think so. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm sure, I screwed up my fair share, but I do remember like having a lot of like a lot of just like, that's not fair being a thing. So the idea of like, oh yeah, women should be, treated equally when I have like an effective role model in my mom there to like reinforce that idea, of like, okay, well, she's running this house,
mm-hmm.
why not? And also I think that because there was also this like heavy influence from my aunts and my stepmom, and I have a lot of aunts now that I'm like doing the math.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of like it takes a village kind of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I had plenty of like strong male role models too. Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's the point of the show. I think that's where we really are. I think it should be to bring balance, like to see things from both sides, to sort of, right? Isn't that what we're trying to do? Like,
yeah, I mean,
see things from different viewpoints.
Definitely.
It's just the messaging in this film just felt a little demasculating. How do you say that?
Emasculating.
Sure. Yes, that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't even let Steve Trevor fight with a sword. She's like, no, they don't know what they're doing. You can't use that. Use the tray with bullet holes in it.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to kill
these people who aren't in the wrong.
Like when you watch Wonder Woman, the series, it is a commercial for the U.S. It is like patriotism, USA, go. So when they put in things like, make sure to pay your taxes or you're going to end up in jail, like, I feel like that's where that's coming from. It's gotcha. Like, it's still got a little bit of that in there. Space.
My recollection of the show itself, of the Linda Carter show, is so completely minuscule. Like I have the image of her flying the invisible plane, her doing the spinny thing and flying away, kind of a thing. And that's about it. I think there was an episode on months ago and just happened to stop on it. And they had this guy, and I was like, I wonder if that guy's Steve Trevor. And then eventually somebody said Mr. Trevor, and I was like, ooh, that's him. But yeah, I don't. I probably should go back and check out some of it.
Yeah, it's very we know who sponsored that one. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so coming from there, I can see why they put certain things in there. It's just, what are the other major accomplishments? Oh yeah, nukes and space, and they had to put those in there, so it's just like, this imagery is put in I'm surprised they didn't put dinosaurs in there also. This imagery is being repeated to us over and over in every major film. I don't know if you've recognized this or noticed, but it seems to be a common trope.
That we've been to space and we have nukes?
Yes. Yeah. Just to kind of make sure you're on board that that all of these things are true. So it's just, the lasso of truth. And they put so much emphasis on truth. Like, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And to say citrine is nothing, like anybody in any woo-woo spiritual circle knows like how awesome citrine is. I've seen these beautiful citrine necklaces that people wear, and it's like, whoa, like you see it and you're like, wow, that's amazing looking. And then for them to just sort of throw it away in this film, like, no, it's nothing. It's just old citrine. Well,
yeah, I think from a storytelling standpoint, like, you got to find something that isn't like so incredibly valuable. She's like, all right, this would only cost $75. Like, this isn't. So you kind of have to figure out, like, all right, of the like what gemstones that aren't gonna like really garner a whole lot of attention. Yeah, they might be beneficial, in some circles, but not in the like in the antique world. That's not going to pull a whole lot of money. So yeah, I'm sure it was like, all right, let's give me the 5 lowest market, least expensive gems.
People think, it's just citrine. You know what I mean? Like, but that's just me coming from maybe a negative mind space. But if it makes more people aware of citrine, then that's probably good. And if it makes more people aware of vitamins, even though the person taking vitamins was supposedly, kind of crazy.
Right. Yeah. He was all about the vitamins, but that was never really explained as to why he was taking them. I was anticipating that being like some sort of like kind of side plot of this guy's taking a whole bunch of vitamins to like counteract what he was, what was happening with the stone.
Well, I think in the film, the reason he's taking biotin, which is like good for your skin and your nails. So like, because he wanted to be a TV personality. So that makes sense.
Okay. In my mind, I thought it was just like, because he had done so much research on the stone, that maybe the vitamins was because he knew it was going to take a physical toll. But I don't know that that's entirely justified. That could just be in my mind.
That could also be part of it. That makes some sense too. But I think he was taking the vitamins before he got the thing. But like in the real world, we know that certain vitamins are good for certain things that are happening now that everybody's very afraid of. Vitamin D has been shown to help with a lot of issues, and certainly other vitamins as well. Vitamin C, people know about these things, but nobody's mentioning it for some reason. So
like, it gets mentioned. I knew that vitamin D was good, that people with vitamin D deficiency had a worse go of it with the Rona before you and I talked about it. So things are getting out there.
Yeah, it gets around, but it's you're not going to see it on your wall, is what I'm saying. Like, that's 1-to-1 probably. Like, somebody was like, hey.
No, I think I saw it I saw it scrolling somewhere.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yep.
Basically, by having the evil, crazy villain want to take vitamins, I think it's just dismissing the legitimacy of vitamins.
I don't know. Part of me thought it had something to do with the gem, so that's why I was kind of like, okay. But then
it's like they're mentioning all these things like, we should probably be aware of. Like, I looked it up. I was like, what's biotin? Like, type it in and like, oh, it's like
I didn't catch biotin.
Yeah, no, it was mentioned in there, like citrine, biotin, like all these important things that could be important are mentioned casually in this film, like they're nothing. And so I looked it up. It was like, what is this? And it's good for your skin. It's good for your hair and your nails. It's good for
was biotin a big deal in the 80s? Was that a thing that like people were taking a whole lot then?
I don't remember. I don't remember that. They were probably selling biotin supplements. It was like collagen now.
Rock type craze. Yeah, exactly.
But it's also like, it's in bananas.
What did you think about the movie visually? Like, cinematography level?
Patty Jenkins, visually, she is
pretty to look at.
She's on fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the golden
suit of armor.
Yeah.
That was rad.
That was pretty epic. I mean, I
could have used a little bit more fighting with it rather than just like full-blown shielding. But then when Kristen Wiig, that was
terrifying.
That was wild, man.
Yeah. She was getting her ass handed to her.
Kristen Wiig, I thought she did a wonderful job. She might be the highlight of the movie for me.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Kristen Wiig fan. So
What was she in before?
she was in Ghostbusters, the newer one. She was on Saturday Night Live for a bunch of years.
So she's like funny.
Bridesmaids. Yeah, she's hilarious.
So it's weird. Like
she comes from Groundlings, so she does a lot of like character, like deep character work. Yeah.
So it's kind of strange that she's in this.
A little bit. Like this was definitely like a step.
Like a stretch. Yeah. She did remind me of like a lot of women in the 80s. I mean, the hair and the vibe was definitely on. Like
I think the fashion in this movie was on point.
Yeah. Can we talk about the flying?
Wonder Woman flying?
Yeah.
Not the invisible plane flying?
No, the Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
Flying.
What about it? Not a fan.
No.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like, why you...
Yeah. I figured, I don't know enough about, from like a comic book standpoint, I don't know enough to say like, if this is like a Superman murdering level of not sticking to the established whatever. Her lassoing the lightning just made me think, honestly, like, I was like, okay, well, she was born of Zeus, so sure. Okay, she's been imbued with Zeus-like power.
Yeah,
so
that lasso came in handy a lot. It seemed very sentient. like the end of it would just go where it needed to go. Like
yeah, the lasso I could have used
less
like 20% less lasso and 35% more the bangles.
Oh yeah, like that whatever that power is.
Yeah, I feel like she tried to use it. Yeah, she tried to use it the one time, but at that point her powers were diminishing.
Yeah,
because of Steve Trevor's presence.
Yeah,
I could have used a little bit more of that.
I like that power. It looks cool.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I don't really know what it does.
That's how she defeated Ares.
Oh, was it?
So
was that?
Yeah, that was like her finishing move there.
Oh, it was the sonic boom.
Well, that with like with some lightning situation.
Zeus. Zeus. See, that's what I like about Wonder Woman was that they were incorporating some of those gods and mythology and things like that into it. And this one, we got that a lot less. However, like ultimately the villain was like a trickster god, like a liar god.
Right. I could have used a little bit more of that, definitely.
Yeah, I would have loved to see that or even see him. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Maybe he transforms into him or something. That's pretty incredible. Like it's just, our culture doesn't really accept multiple gods so much, or it can be what am I trying to say? Like a sticking point. If you mention it to someone who's very religious, then it's hard for them to just even though it's not really accepting it, but even just to fake accept it.
Right. I don't know. I feel like within storytelling in movies, though, I feel like it's. I mean, like if you were casually in conversation, mentioned something about X, Y, and Z God to somebody who's very monotheistic, then yeah, I could definitely see that conversation having some like, but.
Not going into that conversation. I can see that conversation not going anywhere. Is what I can see.
Exactly. But I think within storytelling, I mean, we have enough cultural knowledge of like the Greek gods, the Roman gods, enough to where there's been plenty of movies that have like explored that as a thing.
Speaking of Rome, why did they have to throw in the Rome wasn't built in a day?
When was it? When did they say it? What was the context? I don't remember.
I think when he was talking to his kid or something like that.
Oh, well, that's an interesting thing if it's Max Lord saying
yeah,
it to his
he
child.
said it. He said it to his kid, and then immediately after he said Rome wasn't built in a day, the other character said that everything you just said is a lie. When the guy was wanted to take his money back, right? And he was up there.
Oh, right, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was that early scene.
Yeah, he said your father's a liar or whatever. Like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. I forgot to show you this. I got a new watch band for Christmas.
Oh, that's cool. Is that you have like an Apple Watch?
Yeah.
So you're just getting like the Bluetooth straight into your bones there.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. I've had this thing for like 4 or 5 years now. When I was at work, like running around all the time, I would constantly miss calls because my phone would be in my pocket.
Right.
So it was just one of those like.
So it's very practical.
It was a practical move because I've been terrible with watches my entire life. Could not keep a watch until this one.
So I mean, just the question: why is Rome built in a day? Why is it pervade society? Why is it something they have to keep repeating to us? Think about that. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'll cut all the other stuff we said out. Just think about it.
No. Yeah. Leave it all in.
No, man. I don't want to go all the way with, like, people have to figure this stuff out for themselves. If I tell you what it is, it won't sink in. You have to figure it out yourself.
Are we ready to put a bow on this movie?
No.
Or is there more you want to talk about? You got more. You got so much more.
Okay. She didn't go back and get the armor. She flew all the way to the place. It showed her taking apart part of it, and then all of a sudden she has the armor. What the?
No, she flew back to that spot.
My point is she flew when she had a costume at home,
right,
with wings on it that work, because we saw them work. So
right,
she learned how to fly, not knowing if she could, instead of just going home and getting her wings.
See, I thought she left Steve, renounced her wish,
which was epically done. Like that scene was perfectly done.
Very emotional.
Yeah. I thought it was really great that like we didn't see Steve Trevor like melt away or disappear. Like he went behind
the other guy.
Yeah, no, he just like went behind that thing, and that was the last time we saw him. Like that was really well done.
Started to regain her strength because you see her start to heal.
Yeah, she healed like right
as
there,
she's running, and then that's when she like learns. That's when she figures out the whole flying thing, and then goes to her spot.
No, there was no going to her spot. I mean, obviously she did to get the outfit, but we didn't see that.
There's the scene of her like running in and like taking the tarp off the like canvas off of the armor in the room. I distinctly remember her going to her little like room with the.
If there's that scene, I don't know. Maybe I blinked or something. She's got the room
with the CCTV, and then that's how she's been like figuring out where things
are
going
now
on.
You know what? Now it makes more sense. I confused the room with the CCTV with the actual news station.
Oh, you thought she was in the news station? Okay, I did for a second too.
I'm just dumb.
And I was like, no, you're doing great.
But here's the thing: I made a mistake, and I can admit that.
Hey,
and please forgive me. And apologies to everyone who's wasted time listening to me talk about something that didn't happen.
On behalf of all 7 of our listeners, apology accepted.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
So my point is completely invalid. So she went back. She got the armor. Okay, that makes more sense now. That's what that room was. Okay, it looked like she was tearing it apart, but she was getting the armor. I see.
Yep.
Okay, that makes way more sense. They didn't really hold on that shot very long.
No, they didn't.
No. Okay, that would have.
It also doesn't help to go from a TV, like you've got one location having a whole bunch of TVs, and then you've got the room and focusing so much on the wall that has all the TVs in it.
Right.
They could have angled that with her just like walking into the room,
or her house, or like another room in her apartment going in.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been smoother. I'm easily confused because I haven't taken enough biotin.
Oh, that's just going to make your skin look good.
Oh, it's for everything though. I think it's like
it's for everything.
It's like a B adjacent, vitamin B adjacent. They used to call it vitamin H probably in the 80s for hot.
This movie was hot. This movie had only beautiful people in it.
It did. It had some nice looking folks in there. And
everybody was attractive.
Yeah, this
is a very attractive movie.
The real Steve Trevor, the fake Steve Trevor, the Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The
gal.
Even the Egyptians, they had the perfect mustaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The oil baron guy.
Yeah.
That dude could get it.
Yeah, he didn't have to try.
And Pedro.
Jesus. He looked great. Like I was really impressed with his acting. Like coming from Mandalorian and seeing this whole different side of him. Like, wow. Mm-hmm. And he really like I said, he embraced the 80s infomercial, man.
Oh, absolutely. The fireworks in the plane scene, just visually, I loved that. I thought that was great.
It was beautiful, but another reference to like,
I mean, I guess it was the 4th of July. I just thought it was pretty. Thought it was a pretty moment.
1984. What do you think of the title?
1984. Ah, you're thinking the
George Orwell?
I was about to say Orson Welles. I was like, it's not Orson Welles. Don't say Orson Welles.
Yeah.
It's not Orson Welles. Mm-hmm. Orson Welles. No, George Orwell. Yeah, never read it.
The only other thing with 1984 in the title, and that was about future dystopia where we get all of our information from one source and we are mind controlled by TV screens, I think. Yeah. I don't know. Just interesting title to pick. Yep. I mean, if you had to pick a title.
Yeah, I probably would have gone to 85, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like 85 was 85 was a big year. I think that's Ferris Bueller came out.
Oh, yeah.
I think. I don't know. It could just be.
Because it could have just been called Wonder Woman 2. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I think they wanted to.
But if you put WW2 as the title, it looks a little.
Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Somebody made it a joke of like, I want to know what happened in WW2 through 83.
Yeah.
I didn't see enough to make me think that there was a direct parallel to 1984. I just think it was probably a good setting and fit like the fashion aesthetic that they wanted to go for.
I feel like the parallels
Because I think this
are
movie,
not so much the parallels of it, but it's other than that, it was great.
All right, so where would you put it? Where would you rank it in the DC extended universe movies?
You know, honestly, my opinion has changed a little bit. Thank you for
Okay.
kind of enlightening me a little bit about the shortcut thing and not taking shortcuts. That really actually makes me think a lot higher of the movie than my original impression. I think overall it is worth a watch. It's definitely well produced, and if that is the message that people take away from it, I think it's good. If the message is don't have any desires and do you have no reason to get out of bed in the morning, then that's a terrible message.
Yeah, that's a pretty terrible message.
Yeah, so
I think they'd have a hard time selling that one to the studio.
That was the message I got from it after watching it. I was like, what? What is happening? What? I already have enough trouble getting out of bed. This is what?
Welcome back to Jacob and Ben Explore Their Subtle Depression.
It's 2020 in a nutshell, man. Yeah, I'm glad this year's almost over. I'm really glad that people are prepared to be less afraid, and that makes me happy. And that was another parallel to actually what's going on in this movie, right? So like there's like a catastrophic event. People are all afraid of a certain thing in the news and on TV, and then in reality, and then they're marching and protesting, and then they feel like they're like that is a repeat of history, right? And I feel like we're not learning the lesson of this. It's like there's a thing to be afraid of, then you protest, and then you feel better about yourself because you protested.
Wait, where was this in the movie?
You didn't see the people protesting the nukes?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So like this is a loop. Yeah. This is a story that is played out over and over for us. Like something to be afraid of, nukes in this case. Well, you know what else? You know, something to protest. They use the same thing in this case, but it's not always the same thing.
Right.
And then the resolution of that is different in this film. In the film, they don't go into like why, in this film, you took your wish back and then everything was fine. So like it was hard to get the lesson that you're saying the movie is about when seeing this, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think there might have been a little bit too much going on in this movie to really get. It wasn't like a perfectly executed film. Whereas I thought the first movie was.
The first movie was great. I was like almost teary-eyed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So this one wasn't executed as well.
I just feel like the end was kind of botched a little. Like just they didn't pull it all together and they even have a line. They have a character saying that's a lot. There's a lot going on or something like. There's a line like that. Right. Like in the movie, I feel like they were like, we're just gonna tell you there's a lot we had to put in this movie.
Did Barbara renounce her wish? I don't think she did.
Oh right.
I think Dude renounced his wishes, so then that's what turned her back into a more human-looking person. But I don't know that she renounced her.
Her one.
I think she still.
She might be strong.
Has like hella strong popular vibes and lost a little bit of her humanity. Yeah. So I think she could be a villain down the road kind of.
But here's the thing: I want to be like her. Well, the her she's talking about apparently has all three of the things that every woman wants, or everybody wants. Strength, good looks, and popularity. So if she wants to be like her, why didn't she? And kindness, a good heart.
No, that's the thing. All of her kindness and heart gets thrown away.
Yeah, but if the thing you wish for was for a better heart, see what I'm saying?
Did she though?
If she wishes to be like Diana, and if Diana has a big heart,
true.
You see what I'm saying? Like there's a little bit of a flaw in the.
Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, maybe it was, I want to be like Diana but she doesn't know about Diana's power.
I think it was just like he just takes whatever he wants. Like the stone takes what it wants, I think.
Right. I thought like the stone it like gives you your wish, but then takes away the thing you value the most or something like that.
It wasn't very clear.
Watch it again.
Yeah, I don't think it was even clear in the movie. I think they could have developed that a little more. I think they should have made it more clear They should have brought the god in.
We
I really think they should have.
Yeah,
if they brought the god in,
more
they
of the
could have.
mythology.
They could have
part
really,
of it.
yeah, they really could have given us a stronger message. I think
Definitely.
because then we would have known what we're really dealing with instead of a phallic citrine rock.
Why do you hate women, Jacob?
Why do you think that I hate women?
I'm just joking.
What are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. Like, don't disrespect women, man. Don't disrespect
Right?
them.
No, absolutely.
You know, like they don't need shoulder pads. They're fine how they are. You know what I mean? You don't have to put all that. You don't have to put all that makeup on. You're fine.
Shoulder pads. Agreed. Shoulder pads shouldn't have happened to anybody. And then you got the people who took it way too far, like your Michael Jacksons. I'm going shoulder pads and a faux military suit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He, like Darth Vader, is an independent national.
They explored that concept a little bit in the film. He's like, treat me as an independent nation. When he was talking to the president.
Oh, right. Yeah, Pedro.
Yeah.
Max Lord, yeah.
That's a big concept, a deep concept.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they vilify it here. There are degrees of it that are highly frowned upon, right? So, but if that is where your strength comes from, then it's, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, why is it? So why was it important to him to have that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to fly. He saw the satellites. So he needed the autonomy to just be like, yo,
right.
Just let me do whatever.
Let me do my thing. Let me touch everybody.
Yeah.
For those of you listening on the podcast, I did a fun thing with my hands. Watch us on the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Yeah. We got 6 subscribers over there. So let's get it up to 7.
And I'm one of them.
So I guess we really have 4 because I'm 1 too.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's get it up to 5.
Get it up to 5.
6, 7.
Yeah.
A real 6.
We got Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman 84. Are there any other DCEU movies? Oh, Suicide Squad. I think my number 1 is the first Wonder Woman.
I really enjoyed the first Wonder Woman. I really did.
Yeah.
And it was hard. I admit it had to be hard to follow up that movie with.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Do you go into World War II territory or do you do this? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
What are your options? You know?
And then, and then there's the decision of like, all right, if we do a time jump, we're going to have to jettison every character from the previous movie.
Mm-hmm. I think you can have some in the Mascara.
right. Yeah, you got the Mascara ladies.
Some of those people.
I could have used a little bit more of them. I could have gone for like a check back in with them.
Oh, we didn't cover the ending scene, the bonus scene.
Yes.
What is her name? Amelia, Amesta,
I don't know.
Azrael,
I just know Linda Carter.
The Linda Carter.
Linda Carter comes back.
Yeah, she looked good there. And
yeah, that was fun.
Nice little callback.
Yeah, a little wink and a nod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it.
And she's the one that wore the armor before.
Correct.
It's a very nice way to put a bow on it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think for me, this movie falls in like the, I don't know, high middle of all of those movies. I would put probably Aquaman, Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel, maybe ahead of them, ahead of 84.
The rewatchability of this is not.
Yeah, I guess time will tell on that one. I thought I was going to watch Man of Steel a lot more, and that movie's kind of fallen off. Maybe it's because it just doesn't play on TNT the way that...
It's a long movie.
It's a long movie,
and I'd like to rewatch it. DC's films are very insular, except for a few are very connected for some reason. Like Batman v Superman and Justice League are very connected. Mm-hmm. And everything else just seems like its own thing. Yeah,
I think they struggled with how do we do this like Marvel, but then it not really working. And then, okay, well, let's take a step back and maybe like tell some more independent stories that are just like loosely affiliated. So, you got Batman popping up in Suicide Squad, but only for a second, that kind of stuff. But I think the major course correct is going to come when they do the Flashpoint movie. And I think what they're going to do is set up to where they can tap into every old DC movie, like Brandon Routh, Superman Returns, Michael Keaton, Batman, all of it. I think they're going to try to branch out to where all of that is kind of available using the multiverse.
I'm excited to see it. And if it works, it works. The thing I like about Wonder Woman is like the Greek god thing. I really enjoy them bringing the gods in, right?
Yeah.
And that's an angle they can do that is different than Marvel. So that could separate them. So if they explored more of this like non-physical god type magic-y thing, that would be of more interest to me. Now, I don't know about the general public. If the general public just wants to see people smash things, then maybe
then they're going to love the Snyder cut.
I'm excited about the Snyder cut too.
I'm super excited for it. It could be unwatchable, but I like to watch train wrecks too.
Yeah.
A 4-hour Justice League movie. Yeah, I want to watch that. Even if it's garbage. It's got to be better than what we got. Yeah, I mean, like it's got to be better. At least it'll have like a singular focus as opposed to 2 movies directed by 2 different guys being smashed together into one.
When do we get that? Next month or something? 2 months?
Yeah, I think January, February, something like that, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know that they've put a button on it, but
Wonder Woman, entertaining.
I liked it.
The premise.
Did I love it? Nah, probably not.
The message.
I liked it a lot.
The message not so clear, but probably good. There's some good stuff in here. There's some really good stuff in here.
Yeah,
but some things were kind of forced. Like I don't like guns. I don't like guns. Wonder Woman has a clear answer to this, and she also has a lot of powers that we don't have. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's just convenient for the person that doesn't need guns to not like guns.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also not like actively going into a war zone or actively trying to stop.
It's just another thing that was conveniently dropped in the film that I thought I should point out.
Well, I think there's with almost all superheroes minus the Punisher.
It's a DC thing, I think. Batman has an aversion to guns typically. Superman doesn't need them. Laser eyes.
Nope.
That is
making an observation.
Yeah. And music. Are you gonna do the art?
Yes.
You get a
yes,
thing?
I did. So I'm gonna work on that this week.
Okay, because then I can upload it, and then people can listen to the song on Spotify and whatnot. So that'll come out in a couple of probably 2 or 3 weeks or something. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you in advance for listening to the music. And on the next podcast, we're going to go deep into Star Wars Rebels and the future of Star Wars.
Yes.
Thank you again. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.